My current research to a non-academic is why do democracies stay democracies and why do autocracies try to become democracies but fail sometimes. Effectively, what I talk about is in certain cases, why do autocracies become democracies and in other cases they don't. And my argument is, well, the most important thing in a country is a bureaucracy. Among other institutions, we talk about politics, we talk about the military, we talk about the economic elite, but what we don't talk about is the bureaucracy, the people who actually run the country on a day-to-day basis. So for instance, when you go get your license done, your license is given to you by a bureaucrat. You don't know their name, you don't know their department, but they're the ones who give you the service. If they stop doing their job, would it matter who runs the country or who you elected? No. And that kind of increases the magnitude of the power that they have in non-democratic or transitionary countries, or what we call semi-democratic countries, so countries like Turkey or countries like Egypt or countries like Bangladesh or Pakistan, where the bureaucracy has a significant amount of power, but nobody exactly knows how they operate and what set of variables determines their decisions to either support democracy or support a dictatorship. And that's what I try to study, what makes them tick and why is bureaucracy so critical in all of this, in how we run our countries, how we live our lives. So that's what I study. I was in active politics in Pakistan for about 3 years. I was the youngest ranking member of what is the government now, which was the PMLN. So I used to run communications and media for the PMLN throughout the 2013 campaign. I was associated with them for about 2 years before that. At the point when we won the elections and we formed the government as a political party, I had two choices, either to be part of the government or quit. At that point of time, one of the things that annoyed me the most was how influential the bureaucrats was. No matter how good I was, no matter how good the people we had internally, the bureaucrats were superior to us because they could just simply stonewall us. And that annoyed me to no end. To a point where I was like, fine, I'm just gonna go study this now. And that's what triggered that. And then the professors I have. My professor, one of the main professors that I work with, my advisor, is Professor Andrew Weidman. He's a full professor at Georgia State University, as well as he is the Kissinger Fellow at the Wilson Institute in DC these days. So he works on Chinese politics. He's a China expert. He kind of really encouraged me to build on this stuff. Then there's another amazing academic by the name of Migdal. He influenced the kind of work that I do at a theoretical level, not at the practical level of why I was annoyed with bureaucrats, but at a theoretical level. So he kind of informs my work to a large extent. And then I have other awesome professors like Dr. Kim Ryman and Dr. Jennifer McCoy, who's an authority on Latin American affairs, and Dr. Kim Ryman is an authority on East Asian affairs. Hence, most of my cases are East Asian, and one case in Latin America being Paraguay. I do research across 3 different fields. I do research in international relations, I do research in American politics, and I do research in comparative politics. And I encourage people as much as I can to do research across different fields, because a significant part of my research is how minorities get involved at a political level in US politics through money. So I track super PACs, political action committees, which are minority, and how they engage with politicians over time. So I was doing fieldwork across the US in 2016. Through the election cycle, I was working very closely with about 6 different super PACs, minority super PACs. As in, I was embedded with them. I saw everything they do as part of my fieldwork. That's one thing I do. The other part that I really enjoy is the bureaucracy work I do. And then one of the things that I'm presenting actually today is the work that me and my co-author did on why do some political parties in authoritarian regimes, when they come to power, populist political parties, why do some of them survive and why do some of them just vanish? And we're working on the cases of Turkey and Egypt in detail, and we're kind of explaining how this works and putting forward a different theory on building relationships at a bilateral level with political parties and interest groups in these countries makes a difference at the longevity of democracy in these countries. So how much you're willing to cut deals and moderate your positions is directly correlated to how much your democracy can sustain over a period of time. So that's one of the research projects that I'm super passionate about, but I like doing whatever I think is fun. Because research should be fun. It shouldn't be a task, it should be fun. That's why I got into this, because this was supposed to be fun, and it's awesome, it's fun. We talk to each other, and everybody understands what we're talking about. The problem is we have really awesome ideas. It's just that they're not getting across to normal people. And by normal people, I mean people who don't have PhDs or people who don't have masters, people who are not going to grad school. They need to understand what we're saying, because we have a lot of answers to a lot of problems everybody's going through. But the problem is they're not hearing us because we're not speaking in the language that they understand. And by language, what I mean is we're not talking to them in simple, straightforward terms. When I talk to an average person who does not have a PhD in political science or a master's in political science, I do not start by saying, listen, my methodology is this, this, and this, and my hypothesis is this. I tell them, based on the evidence I've seen, and I can show you the numbers for that, or I can show you the examples for that, this is where we end up. So in a lot of ways, it's fortune cookie knowledge. You have to kind of boil down a 40-page paper that you've written into 140 characters on Twitter, and it works. A lot of people are scared to get engaged on platforms like Twitter, right. But then you've got, and I'm very proud that within political science we've got awesome people like Seth Masket. We've got awesome women like Shana Gadarian who are out there and who are communicating and using it as a good way to disseminate the kind of research that they're doing, because people need to hear these things. And the best way is to put it on Twitter. Are you sure of what you're saying? Yeah. Are you willing to accept your mistakes if you make them? Yes. As academics, we work on evidence. And if the evidence suggests something, we will stand by it. And if the evidence changes over time, we will accept it and we will retract what we said. What's wrong with that? Most of my class, I teach the class on global issues, and then I teach a class in methods. In my global issues class, I'm dealing with about 175 kids. In my methods class, I'm dealing with about 35 kids. Now, the thing is, the average age in my class is anywhere between 19 to 20. If I force them to read a book, a chapter a week, I am delusional. But if I can engage them through multimedia, and if I can engage them through new media, which is the other thing that is huge right now, and I'm a very big proponent of that, is they will listen to it. If you can show them videos, if you can show them tweets, if you can engage them in a process where they feel they're a part of it, they will respond to you very differently. They will learn more. They will understand more. And that's why I'm an innovation fellow at Georgia State, so we design online platforms. So what I do, my job effectively is to design new platforms of online learning. So when you say we want to do a whole program like Masters in Political Science online, I design a whole platform on how to do it online. So I design everything from the kind of videos that you need to do to the kind of assignments that you're going to do, how interactive it's going to be, because I think that's crucial for us. We need to move beyond. The way we're going to disseminate knowledge depends on how interactive it can be and how much of it can be digitized. So that's where we stand right now. So if I'm producing knowledge, because that's what I do, I produce research and I produce knowledge. As an academic, that's what I produce. If that is not going to be consumed by the end user, as in my student or the general public, then something has to change in order for them to consume what I'm producing. Otherwise, it's not sustainable for me as even a freelance person, because in business terms, you look at it yourself as a producer. You're a supplier, there's demand. If your supply is not fulfilling a demand, there's something wrong, you need to change your process. Effectively, what we're talking about with civic engagement or creating digital networks or changing the way we engage with people or students and the kind of research we're doing right now, it's basically changing the process to make consumption of our knowledge far superior to what it is or has been in the past. Megdal's work is phenomenal. I am amazed that general people do not know the significance of the amazing work that man has done. I am stunned at the amazing work that Barbara Geddes has done. And people are only now realizing it through different articles, and that too, a very small population, of the amazing work she has done over the last decades. And it's, to me, that is unfair to these amazing academics, because their work is phenomenal. It's just that the processes we had back then were not friendly to people like us who are producing this high-end specialized knowledge. So yeah, a part of it is making the practicality of it the center pillar of everything. And I feel very passionately about that. And that's down to my business background. So it kind of helps. I'm very proud of that. We had a massive push about 3 years ago. So we brought in a new cohort of people, which I'm a part of. And we came from very diverse backgrounds. Our department was basically trying that, okay, fine, we're going to do this thing the right way. We're going to bring in people from various backgrounds and see how this goes. It turned out really well. But so what they did, so I came from a business school background and active politics background. Some of my colleagues came from law school background. A lot of my colleagues came from, well, doing odd jobs. And a lot of them were high school teachers. The fact that throwing us together kind of made this weird, awesome mesh of people and ideas where nothing was a bad idea and you could try different things out. And if it was audacious enough, give it a shot. One of the things I did when I first came in was I went to the chair of our department, Dr. Carrie Manning, and I was like, have you thought about doing something about our website? And she was like, yes, I have. And I've thought that maybe you should do something about the website. And I was like, that's a good idea, let me give it a shot. And so I rebuilt the website of our university from scratch. The website that you see for Georgia State right now, I built that. I learned it, I built it. In the process, I picked up an extra skill, and the credit goes to the fact that my chair and my director of graduate studies was like, yeah, take 6 months, learn this, it's a skill, it's gonna help you. That practicality helps. Over a period of time, we were reluctant to engage on social media. Now we have a heavy social media presence. We were reluctant to engage on Reddit. But every year before recruitment season, we do an AMA Ask Me Anything on Reddit because we want to reach a wider audience. And we get awesome questions. And we just get questions about general political stuff, which is kind of nice because that's our job at the end of the day. So we find different platforms to engage in. I'm a heavy user of Twitter. I believe in it very strongly. Twitter has been a significant part of my life because the last 3 jobs I've had came through Twitter. And I got into politics through Twitter and writing blogs and articles, and that's how I got into the last 3 jobs I've had. And I don't understand why we are so reluctant even now. 2-3 years ago there was a discussion, I get it, but now it's been proven that it works. Why not engage more?